Hi everybody, Jo here again. Thanks for joining me today. It's Monday, so we're going to have a little Monday mindfulness session. And today I thought we'd actually create a page in our journal, and we're going to create the topper for the page as well. I just thought that'd be a nice thing to do. And the thing is, we've got a new challenge at the minute at Lavinia, and it's called Snow Falling. And I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to take that as my inspiration and create a page. Now, again, you can either follow along with me or, well, do you know what? We haven't got any snow here. We've just got lots of rain. And I know different parts of the world, it's so lovely that we have so many lovely followers from all over. And I know some of you have got snow, but also some of you've got beautiful sunny weather. So whatever your weather is, you grab a drink that's appropriate. You might need a chilling drink, or you might need a nice hot chocolate. And we're going to have a play. I'm going to start by creating my toppers. I'm going to put my journal to one side, aka on the floor where everything seems to go, next to Eric. And what I'm going to use is, I've got some of these lovely circular cards from Lavinia, and I love these. They're such a beautiful colour, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to use one of these in my journal. So what I've done is, now these do come in, I think it's white, cream or ivory, anyway, white, another colour, and this beautiful sort of charcoaly grey. And I thought it would be nice to use this, so I've cut one in half. And my idea is, in my head, and I'm going to be honest, I was thinking almost creating a type of sort of snow globe. But I know bauble cards are very popular at the minute, so again, you could almost make it into a bauble. Lots of ideas. That's the idea anyway. Now, as you know, it's one thing thinking something, and I know you ladies and gents are like me. It's how do you take it from an idea to an actual finished piece? So that'll be interesting, won't it? Let's see where we go. Now, I've got a couple of ink pads, and I'm going to use Pine Cone and Shady Lane in the VersaFine Claire. And I'm going to come in first with this fir cone branch. It's been on my desk so much, I just love using this. And I want to see what the brown looks like on the grey. Now, I have actually made a card recently, which I must admit seems to have disappeared, where I've done white embossing on the grey, and that looks stunning. I should have had it to show you, shouldn't I? But I've probably put it somewhere safe, you know, like we do. But I'm going to go ahead and stamp with this. And I think I'll do some first and second generation. And I love the way that brown is showing up. I've used this stamp so much this year. I mean, I know we shouldn't have favourites, but do you do that? I seem to have ones that I use a lot. And I think we'll just sort of come this way, little bit there, little bit there. So that's the way I'm thinking it's going to look. So we'll give that a bit of a wipe. Get Mr. Inky Binky on it. Now, I'm going to use the lovely little mini, as you know, I love these little pound stamps, so the little mini winter berry. And again, I'm just going to turn it round just for me. It's a bit easier. And I'm thinking we'll have, and I'm using the brown, but a little tip. I don't want a lot of the stem, so I'm actually using the corner of the ink pad. And I just find that works well, especially with the pound stamps. Just so I don't want a big stem on this. Just want the actual berry. Let's have a look. 4, we need 5, we need an odd number, don't we? I think we're crying out for one there. But actually, peep of one there, just so it's not too regimented. Now I'm going to bring in, my plan is I've got to include Pippin. We like a bit of Pippin, don't we? And he's perfect. I just want Pippin in my snow globe with some snow around him. So again, I'm going to use him in the brown. He's a silhouette, but I think he'll show up well in the brown. Look at that. Did you see that? My stamp I need to clean the back. If ever that happens, it's just not sticking to my block. And again, I've obviously used him too much and not cleaned the back of him. So if I was good, I could edit that out. But you know what happens? You come into my craft room, I'm afraid. You see it, warts and all. He's definitely not wanting to stick, is he? I might have to actually properly wash him. Come on, Pippin, just for this card. Behave, please. I only want you to stamp once. Just don't do that thing of dropping in the wrong place. See, I've got ink all over the side now because I was pressing so hard. And I'm sure this happens to you. But we are what we are, aren't we? We're human. Right, let's just hover. Right, hopefully. Let's pop him. I can't even see if he's straight now. Oh, let's go for it there. Well, decision made. We've done it. Come on, Pippin. Don't fall off. Yeah, that's fine. He's not quite straight, but he'll be fine. Obviously, I need to give him a proper wash, don't I? But you see, what I'm thinking is if I put him there, I want one of my lovely Christmas charms to dangle. Bit of dingle dangle. And this, I know there's 3 and you shouldn't have favourites, but again, I do love this one. And again, I'm using the brown. I want to keep it all in the brown. And I'm thinking he's looking there, look. So I could give him a little bauble to look at. I think there would look good. And I'm just using the copy paper. So just to keep it there, that's fine. So let's pop another one. Maybe one just coming off there. And then obviously we'll have to have one at this end as well. You've got to have 3, haven't you? But I don't want, I'm tempted to do that, but I think that's too much of a line. So I think a short one possibly. See, that's too close. Let's just put a little one there. Yes, I prefer that. I think if I put that, it would look too regimented, but I do need a little bit of foliage there, which I can do because I'm going to add, and again, mix and match as you go in. So I could, options now, add some of the fir cone branch, but I think that would be too heavy for me. But I'm going to come in with my pound holly, so I'm thinking if I had some holly there. So let's see, and this is where the green, the shady lane comes in. So I'm thinking we could just put some 1st and 2nd generation around here. And I think that will fill that. Yeah, I think that's nice. I'll add some here so it looks cohesive. But I think if we'd come in with the brown, I think it would have looked too much. And this holly's great for filling in, especially when it comes to the 2nd generation. And I have to say, I'm loving the look of the colour on this sort of charcoaly background. So again, I'll stop and have a look. I don't want any pizza. I don't want it to be too much. It's tempting to go, but I don't want... Yeah, just a little space there. So what we'll do is we'll just fill in with a little bit here, I think. But yes, I think that's nice. I don't think it needs any more than that. I think it will look too much. And again, this, I could use this. Let's just give this a look at that. I could find a clean bit, couldn't I? But we do keep all our bits, don't we? This would make a matching card. So obviously this is going to go in my journal, but obviously if I like the design, I may just make a card to actually match this. I'm just giving that a bit of a blot. And then what we'll do, we'll add some colour. So I've got my watercolour pencils here. So let's get a couple of reds. And we'll just add a little bit on those berries. And again, I'm just using the darker colour around the edge. And then I'm going to come in with my lighter red. And again, very quickly. My water pot, as I colour, I can hear the handle, it's metal, just tinging on my water pot. Now I think I'm going to go blue for these baubles. So again, I'm just going to come in with this lovely blue and just colour it a circular motion. And I'm just going to grab a little piece of kitchen towel to lean on, and then can't believe we're in December, you know. How are you doing with all your Christmas cards and your Christmas shopping? Hope you're doing all right. Right, so I'm just going to use my watercolour, my lovely Lavinia brush, and just a little bit of water on these just to make them pop a little bit. And I'm going to do the hanging baubles first, then clean my brush. So yes, so how are you doing? Must admit, I make Carl's business Christmas cards, and he normally needs about 60, so they're all done, sorted, envelopes stamped up, inserts in, so they're done, so that's good. I've made a few ones to post, but of course with the postal strikes here in the UK, we have to post earlier this year, so you have to do that, don't you? Now again, I could add some extra red for my berries. I think I'll just colour the odd one. I don't want to colour them all. I don't want it to be too busy in the background. And I think I'll come in with a red gel pen and just add a few. I almost don't want the background. I quite like the way this looks on the grey. So I'm purposely not going to colour them all. Quite like the way it sort of blends into the background. So we'll have a few. Now again, if you want, you could colour them all. You could colour the pine cones if you want, but I'm thinking I like it. My idea, I'm thinking I like it like that. Now I'm going to come in with my white chalk pastel pencils, and let's just ground Pippin a bit, because this is going to be sort of a snowy scene. I'm thinking the pastel pencil, and I'm just going to smudge it a little, sort of to ground him, because we want sort of a snowy look on me. So we'll just add a little bit, just randomly here, and then maybe just a bit of a sort of hill shape in the background. But I don't want it to be obvious. Just want it to sort of be like that misty sort of, you know, like we get that frosty. So this is a frosty morning, so we're just going to add a little bit of, and the pastel again, because we can smudge it. So I'm just going to give him a little bit of shape while I've got my pastel pencil. A little bit of highlighting. I always like to just put a bit of nose and just a bit on there. Again, that just... Now what I do want is my circle masks. And it would help if I'd put them ready, wouldn't it? But luckily they're on the shelf behind me. So what I'm thinking is, if I get the outer bit, not the bit we normally use. Now, do we use that as a spotlight, or do we? Yeah, I think I'm torn now. Should we put that in a spotlight? I quite like it over here. No, I'm going to put it over here. I like the moon over here. It's too close to him there. Again, what my like, it takes me longer. So what I'm thinking is, if we just add the pastel pencil look and then just smudge it, just to give that idea. And if I just lightly come in and add a little bit more and smudge it. Yeah, I like that effect. So I'm going to keep my white pastel pencil there for the minute. And my Posca. Hopefully by now these will be dry, so I can add some little highlights and maybe just a little bit of snow on the odd. Again, I don't want to overcook it. just on the odd branch. And with my gold pen, I'm thinking let's just add on the chain here. As I say, this would make a fabulous Christmas card. Let's add some snow with our Posca. Now, do we want glitter? Shall we add glitter first? Yes, let's bring in our... do some dotting and dabbing. So as you know, with the Stickles, I always test it on my mat first because it can be a bit rude. It can have wind, and normally I paint it on. But what I'm going to do here, what I found is when I'm doing my Christmas cards and I almost want to be in a routine, I find if I just dot it and then dab it with my finger, it's really helped when I've been batch making my Christmas cards. So I'm going to do a bit of dotting and dabbing. I don't want to overdo it. I just want a little bit. Because what I'm thinking is I'm going to come in with my lovely PanPastel, and this is the white fine pearl. And my idea is if I just get a little bit of that, and again, add that to the moon look for that extra shimmer, and then just this hazy, lovely, frosty sort of feeling. Don't want it on pippin. And a bit down here. And it just adds to that whole look. Now, if you want, you could use your hill mask and you could make definite lines in the snow. I just, for this, I just want the actual feeling of that frosty sort of. But again, you can take it to whatever level. But we do need some Posca, so if we move that out, we'll just shake our Posca and get a brush and add some snow. Snow falling, that's what we want. Now again, I could mask Pippin off, but if I'm careful, I can get round him. There we go. And if I just give this a bit of a wipe, otherwise I'll be putting my journal on there, won't I? Everything's falling on my table today. I've got to that stage, I don't know about you, where I've banked everything up on my table. So if I bring this in to show you, so this is the idea of my topper for my snow globe. Now, if I wanted, I could let this dry and put clear embossing powder over the whole thing to give that effect. But I did wonder about doing that. But sometimes clear embossing powder, when it's dry, can crack. And I did think the amount I open and close my journal, I didn't want it to crack. So I'm actually going to just leave it with this sort of, I like the sparkle that the PanPastel gives me. But it was something I did think of. So I'm going to create a page to add this to my journal. So if I bring my journal back in, and what I've done is I've started already, and I'm going to show you what I've done. And I'm using my beautiful bookmark that we made last week, look. And I'm going to keep this in my journal. Just trying to make room. You know what these journals are like. So that bookmark has been very useful. And as I say, I'm actually going to keep it in my journal. And what I've done is I've started with an idea here, and I'm going to do the rest of it. But what I'm thinking is that my lovely snow globe is going to go here. So I think that's going to look lovely. And what we'll do is stamp. So we've got the tree stem and the tree den. Not easy to say that. Now, because my journal, I fill odd pages, look, I have got pages after. So I am going to come in with my copy of paper underneath. And as you know, I am using the textured journal. So it has almost got a tooth on it. So we won't get absolutely spot on perfect stamping. But putting the copy of paper underneath really helps with that. Again, you can get the smooth pages, but it's one of those, I love the texture, and I go with the fact that my stamping won't be as perfect as stamping on a piece of smooth card. But I know that, so like I say, for me, the copy of paper helps. Now I've got 2 trees this side. Don't want it even, so I'll put one this side and just a bit further up. And again, your lovely Lavinia blocks help. Make sure you press and then lift up. There we go. And then what I'm going to do is add some ink. And the colour I've gone for is the truffle. It's quite funny, my card topper won't stand up. So I've gone for the elements, and it's the truffle. And again, this is just creating the background around. So I'm just going to use a blending sponge, and I'm going to keep my copy of paper there. And I'm just going to blend. I want this almost to just be sort of a misty background. And again, we'll just bring it in. And then if I bring my topper in, let's have a look. Where do I need? Yeah. Mind you, I need it lighter there, don't I? That's where my moon is. So maybe a little bit here. But we'll leave that. Need a little bit of colour, but I need it a bit lighter. Don't want it too light. And then what we'll do is we'll just add a little bit of deepness under there. And in this corner, let's get the corner really deep. And the same up here. And we'll pop that to one side. And then with my fan brush, I just want to add that little bit of faux bleaching. And again, just to give, you've stamped in a permanent ink, so you know that won't move, but just to add a little bit more interest. And what I'll do is I'll just come in with my heat tool. I'll give that a bit of a dry. Let's move this out of the way now. I'm going to blot it with a bit of copy paper, bit of tissue. And that faux bleaching just adds. Now, I'm being mindful, I don't want to heat it too much because I've got things glued on the other side and I don't want the heat to melt that glue. That makes sense? So if I pat it, but can you see the faux bleaching? It just adds to that whole sort of background look. And then I'm going to put that there. So let me get my pastel pencil. So if I put that there, we're going to have some white, aren't we? We'll use the pastel pencil. Just add a bit of white here. And I think if I come in with my, let's just give us a base. That will just give me an idea where I'm going to ground that. And then I can just add a bit more of an idea. Of that there. And if we come back in, and this is where at home you would let it dry a bit more. And then we can add a bit down here, can't we? And just to bring the whole thing together, Let's add a little bit of that there, and a little bit of mist, sort of that frosty look in the trees. Now again, I could add my Stickles Glitter Glue, but I don't want any sparkle in the background. I like it quite sort of misty. And I could stamp sort of berries but I just wanted the background stamped differently, if that makes sense. And I want this to be the real focal point. So I like that. I think apart from some snow and a sentiment, I think I'm going to leave that. And obviously I've gone over the page this side. I know that, I'm happy with that. I could have masked this off, but I'm thinking that'll give me an idea, ready to start on this side. So I'm not worried at all about that. So what I do want, I'm going to take this out of the way and let's add some Posca. After all, it is snow is falling, so let's add some snow. And I'm hoping the snow will show up lovely on this dark brown sort of background. And let's pop this. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stick this in place and then maybe just overlap a little bit of the snow, because that will just help almost with the continuity. So let's get some bippity boppity glue. And again, with this, I always recommend just using your finger to get it right to the edges. You don't want the edges popping up. So let's position that, I think, there. Give that a good press down, and then just wipe the glue off my fingers. And then if I stand up, gives me an idea. Just think I need a little bit more snow here, just so it goes over the actual topper and snow falling, snow flurry, definitely, avalanche. And then what I'm thinking is I just want a nice sentiment on here. So I'm going to look at my Christmas ones. Now I have got snow here. Oh, let it snow. Again, I'm thinking let it snow. Tinsel and sparkle. No, let it snow. That's my gut feeling. I'm not going to distract myself and talk myself out of it. Now, where to put let it snow? Put it on my globe. I think here actually. I could put it, oh here. Oh, choices. Quite like it up here, I think, in the snow, just across the top of those trees. Again, let's just get it straight. Although, does it cut the trees off? Choices. What about, no, I don't like it across there. No, I do like it here. Right, I'm going to go with that. What I may do is add another one down here. I think I want another, and I'm going to go for peace. I'm going to add a piece down here. I think that's what's bothering. Yeah, looks better with one here as well. Sometimes it is funny. Sometimes things you just think it needs something and you're not sure what. Now the trouble is those will reflect. It's hard trying to get my light, so things that are shiny do reflect a little. So there's my page today. And as I say, I just love something about that lovely circular card blank. And when you think that's all we started off with, do you know what? I think we just need a little bit of snow around Pippin. I do this, and I actually do this. I do come back to my pages, you know, and add little bits. I mean, a couple of you have asked if we can go through the pages at the end, and that's probably wise, because you'll be surprised how many I do come back and just add little bits. And again, that's not a problem. Yeah, that looks better with that. But sometimes I find just by standing up, it gives me a slightly different look at something. So I like that. That's my homage to snow globe in my journal on a frosty morning. So I'm hoping you enjoyed that. I'm hoping you have a go at something similar. I think I might just go and make a matching card now, because often it's coming up with the idea, isn't it? And that's where my journal's going to come in. This will almost be a reminder of the stamps I've used and that design. So thank you for joining me. If you want to enter the challenge, obviously if you're watching this when I've made it, December 2022, that's when the challenge is. I am aware when we make these, sometimes crafters come back and watch them maybe 12 months later. So obviously it'll be a different challenge then. But again, look on the Lavinia website, all the details are there. And you can win £40 voucher to spend at Lavinia. So honestly, the challenges are fabulous. So just have a little look on the Lavinia website. So I'm going to go now. All this frosty, snowy made me just fancy a nice hot chocolate. So you take care. Thanks for your friendship and thank you for all your support. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.